Welcome to Watch Symposium. I'm Austin. That moment you realize, unbeknownst to you, that you happen to have a full and complete collection of Vostok watches, a mini collection. Well, almost complete. I mean, it doesn't have a chronograph, but you've got the GMT function watch here. You have the dress watch, the Vostok Calatrava. You have the dive watch, the Sea Dweller. Has to be the closest thing Vostok makes to what I'm actually wearing right here, which is the Rolex Sea Dweller. And look at that. I mean, it's got the date, no crystal, pretty minimal writing on the dial. It's got similar bezel insert with the, ticks from 1 to 15 here and 1 to 20 here, which, by the way, is a really cool aspect of this watch. In fact, I like the layout of the bezel insert here more than GMT bezel inserts. Yesterday, I was sitting next to a guy on the train, and I could tell he had a Rolex because I could see this much of it. In fact, this is what I could see. So I could see the bracelet, and I could see the outside of the bezel. So I knew it was a sub or a GMT. I knew it was a pre-ceramic. And so what I did is I got a look at the crown, and it was the smaller crown. So I knew it was a 16710. Or I guess it could have been, an earlier version. But I noticed it had a holes case. It had solid in-link bracelet, just like this. And so, yeah, I knew it was just one of those turn of the millennium 16710s, but I hadn't even seen the face. And so a little later in the train trip, I got up and I sat across from him, and sure enough, it was an all black 16710, made turn of the millennium, which it would have been probably range of 3 to 4 years, starting from the mid A's to the mid Y's. And anyway, it was just pretty cool. But my whole point is that when I saw that bezel insert, I just don't like it as much because it doesn't have the pip. It doesn't have that cool three-dimensional, sphere, glowing sphere, which is really cool. Funny thing, this insert is actually cheaper than the GMT inserts at RSC. Isn't that crazy? But anyway, you have that asymmetry here. And it's those ticks at the top quarter that I think are really cool and really fun and are so much more satisfying than the 16710 bezel inserts. But of course, you got the colors there. That's what's good about that. But no pip. And again, those, the whole layout is just not as satisfying. And I love those boxy numerals here. All right, anyway, back to this. But this is the closest thing that Vostok makes, I think, to this. And I was looking at this, and I thought, I need to appreciate this watch. I mean, if you guys remember, this is the watch that was frozen and boiled. Link in the description to those videos. But, this is like a tried and true Russian soldier that has been to hell and back, literally. And, hell can be cold, and hell can be boiling hot as well. And this watch knows it. And so, it deserves a little bit of feature on the channel, deserves some love. And I'm going to wear this watch for a month because, when a Russian soldier, does their best, you don't turn around then and send them to the meat grinder. I would never take this out and, hurt it or, run over it with something I knew would break it. It's earned its keep. And so for that reason, I need to wind my watches at the safety deposit box where I keep them. And when I do that, I'm going to take this watch too. And I'm going to wear this watch for 1 month as a tribute to it. And, just the toughness and respect that a Russian soldier of a watch should be given. And so that's what I'm going to do. All right. I realized during the editing process that my words may be highly misinterpreted. Let's just get something straight. I'm on the side of Ukraine, okay? And not Putin, all right? My comparison of this watch to a Russian soldier is because it is indeed a Russian watch. I can't spin things and pretend that this is a Ukrainian watch, okay? But look, on the side of the Russians, the ones who I feel sorry for are the ones that are sent to the meat grinder, the ones that are uninformed about the reality of the situation and have found themselves at gunpoint, more or less, on the front line. You can't retreat or you get shot, and you got to shoot the ones in front of you. So it's a bad situation, and a lot of those are good guys that are pawns in this, and would have, and probably in the past, like this watch, probably served Russia well, as this watch served me oh so well when I abused it. And my whole point is that to continue to abuse this watch and not to appreciate it is akin to sending those soldiers that again are uninformed and unaware of the reality of the situation to the front line. So, we got to support Ukraine, but we also have to support the people in Russia who aren't up on the reality of the situation. You spend all your life thinking you can trust what you see on TV, and then all of a sudden you can't, and that's got to be very difficult, and you probably don't know what to believe. But imagine your knee-jerk reaction would be, of course, to believe what you see and want to support your country, and the confusion among the regular Russian people, I imagine, is great and difficult, and I can't imagine dealing with that. But also the young Russian men that are really the flesh and blood embodiment of this watch. Anyway, but it's just kind of interesting to note that, I've got this collection of Vostoks that's really perfect. It's got the GMT, it's got the dress watch, it's got the diver. This, of course, is just the traditional, Vostok, which the Amphibia 420 case. And of course, if you don't know about these, I'm not going to bore my regular viewers, but there are aspects of this watch. Children watching Poltergeist in the background, okay, if you're curious. But there are aspects of this watch that are just revolutionary and actually, in all truth and seriousness, better designed than Rolex. For example, the wobbly crown that, if it's bashed, doesn't hurt the movement, or the way that the pressure as the watch descends down into the sea, the pressure of the sea pushes on the back of this, making it actually tighter. So it uses the pressure for it, unlike Rolex, which just tries to keep the pressure out. So this is a really clever design, and it's quintessential. And it's a feature of all Vostoks. This washer that just holds down this, which allows it to be pushed in by the pressure. So there's that, and of course this right here. But I've got everything, Vostok wise, except for the chronograph, which I guess I don't need a Vostok chronograph. I don't even know if they make one, to be honest. But anyway, interesting. I think this is kind of a cool collection. It deserves love. And this is the kind of thing that I don't mind having around the house. I have a dresser right next to where I sleep, and these watches are on it, and it allows me to, pick up something, wind it. This is fully wound. This is a manual wind Vostok. The dress Vostok, the Vostok Calatrava. But it allows me to have something that I don't have to worry about getting stolen. So that's why a mini collection is kind of cool. And so, lo and behold, I've got a nearly full and complete, and in my opinion, and let me know what you think, enviable collection of Vostoks, all running really well. This one's going to get love for the next month, while I take maybe a moratorium from Rolex. I think everybody's thinking about safety now, and this is a wake-up call for everybody in the community. Wake up for everybody who has a collection of watches to be safe, to always assume the worst. Prepare for the worst, but assume the best. Or is it assume the worst and prepare for the... I don't know what it is. But anyway, just Assume that, your place might be broken into tonight, tomorrow. I mean, are you prepared? What are they going to get away with? And what are you going to do if it happens? And if it's a collection like you're looking at right here, well, I mean, it would be devastating, but still, it's not, financially devastating. And so, be careful. This is a lesson for everybody. And the people, who are out there making YouTube videos and watch videos and flexing a bit, be careful, The individual I'm talking about, of course, this is Archie Luxury, and he lives in Australia. And this has to freak out the whole community in Brisbane and the people close to him. And, there's a lot of people that that he knows in real life there that are collectors as well. This has to make them nervous. And even being across the ocean, it makes me nervous as well. So it's all fun and games until, people start violating your space. And that's the most devastating thing about it. You can put together a collection again, but you can't take that pain away. And, unfortunately, spaces can be violated in ways that you just looking at them reminds you, and things maybe perhaps could never be the same. I hope, Archie heals, and I hope he is able to get past this. It's going to be hard to get past it. It's not just about replacing the watches. It's about just healing that void of violation, that imagine heart-ripping violation. So anyway, a lot of stuff going on. We got Russian watches. We got a war in Ukraine. We got a watch that's going to be worn for a month that should have been appreciated and will be appreciated, and is really cool. And we got people thinking about safety. And, when you're talking these expensive watches, keep them out of reach. But of course, in the watch world, it's these lovely little inexpensive watches that can bring such joy to the hobby that we don't have to worry about. We don't have to worry about somebody breaking in for these. And, these are watches only a mother could love and only an owner could love. And this owner loves them, to be honest, and appreciates them. And they do bring something to my collection and my horological life. And they bring ease and comfort and just fun and just casualness. And, I showered with this watch earlier. Funny thing is, I don't shower with this watch. This watch has not been frozen or boiled, and it's just had an overhaul, which, of course it could handle it. But then here I am thinking, if I don't push the seals now, they'll be more strong later. They'll be stronger later, or as strong. You know what I mean? So the less I take it in water now, the longer it's going to be water resistant. So why push it now? Why shower with it when you don't need to? Well, you don't think about that kind of thing with these. And so, there are a lot of good inexpensive watches out there, whether it's mid-tier $2,000 watches. I've never gone that route. I've always loved these real cheap watches. Nothing over $200 here. Okay, this is at best probably retail. I probably paid $500 for this entire collection, and it can bring a lot of joy. And so, however you want to roll in your horological life, there are many ways to do it, and even mid-tier watches and lower-end watches, of course, shouldn't be denigrated. Now, don't think this is some sort of revelation on my part, and I'm going to start spruiking or supporting people that are paying $2,000 for these mid-tier watches that won't go up in value or hold value or are not really heirloom pieces. Now, I think you should be very, very careful when you're talking over $1,000, okay? Because that's not just fun money anymore, right? That's getting into serious money where you probably need to start thinking about whether you're going to be able to recoup it in the future. So those mid-tier watches that are like $2,000, I'm talking like Squally and stuff like that, the expensive ones, be careful, all right? Be careful, because they're in the long term waste of money, right? Possibly. That's the debate. But this right here, $500. Let's see, I paid $25 for this. Of course, the strap was probably about the same. I paid about $50 for this. I paid, I want to say $150 for this and about $150 for this. So $300. Okay, so about $350, $375. We'll just round it up to $400. So averaging about $100 a watch. So a lot of bang for a buck, man. A lot of tactile fun I can have with these watches and visual fun. I mean, look, this is beautiful. Look at that with the weird case with the gold color kind of coming off, but it's got that fluting and the really interesting dial. I mean, Google this. Try to find another dial like this. It's really hard. Sometimes you'll find hands like that, but the dial right here probably alone is worth the price of the watch. $25. Runs really well. All right, guys. So there you go. It looks really good, and I bet a lot of people who know me in my real life won't even notice that I switched watches. So can I do this watch for a month? Will it keep good time? I mean, it'll be interesting. I can't wait to see. And it's been great wearing the Sea Dweller. And no, this really has nothing to do with any robbery or anything or fear. I just looked down at this watch and I thought, I want to love you. I want to appreciate you. You went to hell and back. And you look a lot like that. So that really is what prompted me, not because, I am scared to wear this or anything like that. Japan is quite safe. Look, I think, as I said, the robbery in Australia has concerned everybody, I'm sure. But if you're in Japan right now with a nice watch, I think you can rest assured you're going to be absolutely fine. As long as it's on your wrist, of course. Don't keep things at home, right? Put things away and prepare for the worst. All right, so I'll let you know how I get on with this watch, but it's beautiful. It's actually really comfortable. Look at that. The Vostok Sea Dweller. Oh, yes, and the reason I have this glove under is to protect the case back because, it's got an engraved case back that I'm pretty keen on, right? All right, so the original gas escape valve commemoration caseback. Maybe that's a way to look at it. Whereas the new one, the 126067, has the commemoration caseback, I guess, for the 1960 and the 2012 Mariana Trench expeditions. So, casebacks mean something, right? Whether it's props for anti-magnetic case or whatnot.